All across the nation, America's youth are taking a stand on life and getting involved in the pro-life movement. And they're taking bold action, protecting innocent human life victimized by the abortion industry. Today we'll visit one of many pro-life boot camps that specialize in training the next generation to be advocates for life. After the program, I'm sure you too will be confident that we'll end this modern-day Holocaust with the enthusiastic help of our next generation. Stay with us. Heart for the Next Generation is a 4-day event in Dayton, Ohio, rallying the next generation of young people to boldly take a stand for life. The event was founded by Pastor Keith Tucci and Scott Heldreth, both with long histories in the pro-life movement. Keith wanted to bring teens and the church together for not only pro-life education, but courageous and confident activism.
Just looking at the landscape culturally and seeing all the losses we were having, with the homosexual agenda primarily, but yet understanding that behind the scenes that abortion clinics were being eradicated one by one across the nation with pretty good consistency. Kind of in the trench warfare aspect, we were actually winning a lot, but I don't think a lot of people understand that and know that. But I felt like the church really needed a rally call, really needed a win. And I just put myself out there. I said, Lord, okay, let's do something. What do you want to do? And the Lord just drew me to Dayton. And we drew a lot of folks that have great pro-life history and legacy together to really reach out to a new generation, to really impart to them, to get behind them and say, we want to get behind you. If you go for it, we'll be wind in your sails, so to speak. And that's how Heart for Next Generation came about.
Abortion is vulnerable. It's an ugly thing now. The debate over, is it a child or a choice, is over. We know. Both sides know it's children that we're killing, and both sides know that it damages women. I mean, the medical proof, all this stuff that's mounted over the years is going to crush abortion, in our nation. So we should jump in and move forward with it.
Do you guys think that if the church fully engaged in this issue, we could end abortion?
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow, hands down.
You think it's that powerful?
Oh yeah.
That's God's indictment against us. Not that we don't know what to do, but we know what to do and refuse to do it.
Keith, tell me about Heart for the Next Generation. What does it do?
Well, number one, in the Christian community, you have a lot of rhetoric about the next generation, believing the next generation, serving the next generation, preparing the next generation, but that can't be just ideas. There has got to be some train tracks for that to run on. There's a hunger in a lot of them that are seeking out and offering their vocational skills. I think there's kind of an awakening vocationally for young-minded kingdom people saying, what am I going to do with my service? What am I going to do with the gifts and the talents and the skills that God has given me?
The event includes 200 attendees from 17 states, with the majority being high school and college students. The event brings together different aspects of the pro-life movement. Every morning begins with prayerful demonstrations at the last abortion facility in Dayton. Afternoons are filled with training sessions addressing topics ranging from Black genocide awareness to a seminar taught by an abortion survivor turned physician. Nightly rallies reaffirm the messages of the day and motivate attendees into action.
My favorite part of the event is definitely the people. The people that make up the nucleus of the pro-life movement are cream of the crop.
My words exactly.
They are top shelf. You leave feeling like a rich person when you're around these people.
Coming up, we'll hear from teens who are participating and getting involved in the pro-life movement. Wendy Wright has been devoted to pro-life work since 1989. After many years with Concerned Women for America, Wendy is working with CFAM, monitoring pro-life issues at the United Nations. On an international scale, Wendy has witnessed how the abortion battle is raging. She stresses that young people are being influential at the highest levels. Wendy's excited about the network of pro-life boot camps around the country and is eager to address and help train the next generation of pro-lifers.
Heart for the Next Generation is focused on, we've got some experienced pro-lifers joining up, partnering with younger people so they can see, here's how you do it, and this is what you can do. Here's something that you can do that can make a difference. So this is an opportunity to not necessarily hand off a baton, although that is happening, but it's about training and emboldening young people to stand up and speak out and literally rescue those unjustly sentenced to death. We've been doing 72 hours of prayer every hour of the day, starting Wednesday night through to Saturday night at the abortion mill. And so I had the 3 a.m. slot, and when I went out, there were already 2 young men there. They were spending the entire night at the abortion mill to pray. I'm so glad that there are young people who are stepping up, who do have the energy and are committed to defend the young and the unborn, not only with their presence, but through their prayers. And we believe, and this really is the foundation of Heart for the Next Generation, that this battle is not a culture war, it's a spiritual battle.
Wendy, you've had some time now to spend with these young people at this event. What, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the average young person that you've been engaged with here?
The young people who have come to Heart for the Next Generation are some who are passionate, who've been involved, frankly, who grew up doing this. Their parents were involved, and so they're used to it. It's old hat. And then there are a couple young people I've met who this is the first time they've done something like this. And it is just eye-opening for them to see what can be accomplished when you're willing to step out and step up and speak out. And I think there are going to be a few changed lives. This is really going to be a turning point for them, that they've seen what can be accomplished, and they will go back home with a renewed vision of what they can do.
During the morning demonstration outside the abortion facility, I spoke with some of the event's participants. Their words of conviction were encouraging and inspiring to hear.
We're here to support life. We're here to stand up for what we believe in, and we think abortion is wrong and it's murder, and we're here to be the voice for those who can't speak.
So why do you think abortion is wrong? Isn't it a woman's choice for what she wants to do?
Yeah, it is a woman's choice because it is inside her womb, but at the same time, it's not that baby's fault that she was the one who got pregnant, and it might not be the woman's fault either due to any other kind of circumstances, but in the end, it's still never the baby's fault, and they may be in one body at the time, but it's still 2 different people and 2 different lives.
What would you say to a woman going into this facility for an abortion? If you had a sentence or 2 to turn her around, what would that be?
I would say that she has like another choice. She could put it like up for adoption if it was like a really bad circumstance.
I would say you believe in pro-choice, but you have another choice. There's another way out. You don't have to do this. There is hope. We have a message for you. We have Jesus for you, and he can help you. You don't have to kill your baby.
That child is never going to have a life. That's one life that's just gone like that. That could be a future police officer, a future doctor, that would be a future husband, father, and he could be a great man or a great woman, and that life is gone just like that through abortion.
Jamie Sinclair, Josh McGrath, and Madison Cox traveled from northern New York with their high school and college youth groups to participate in the Jamie Sinclair Generation event. They were excited to learn more about the pro-life movement and to find new opportunities for involvement taking a stand for life.
I was excited for the opportunity to participate in something where we're standing up for the unborn. I've been pro-life my whole life. I'm always excited for an opportunity to learn more and to be active. I think this is a huge issue that our country's facing. It's so easy to just kind of forget about it. Just live life and forget that there are millions of babies every year who are being killed. And so I was really thankful for the opportunity to come and stand up for the unborn.
I love people in general. I just like to try to be Christ's heart for them, but when I just hear about babies being, in my opinion, murdered, it's just, I don't know, it makes me very angry and sad, and I really, this is an issue I do care about, and I want to do something about it.
Jamie, tell me what it was like standing out in front of an abortion facility, and how did that impact you?
That's the first time I've actually been at a facility that did surgical abortions while it was during the hours of operation. And seeing women pull up in vehicles and get dropped off, you know this happens every day, and we hear the stats, and I've seen the images, I've watched films like Hard Truth. I'm certainly not unaware, but it was sobering. I mean, just knowing what's happening in there is heartbreaking. And we need a God-sized solution to a really big problem.
Madison, did you learn anything that really shocked you?
Yeah, actually, I've known about abortion for quite a while, but other than the saline abortions, I don't think I've known any of the procedures or really exactly how many babies were dying. And the numbers and the procedures really were shocking. In a way, it was good for me, but still, it's pretty hard to say.
What sets Heart for the Next Generation apart from other organizations, Josh?
The emphasis on Christ being the solution. It's easy for it to become a Christian conservative issue, and for people to just be like, oh, you're a Christian, oh, so you're pro-life, and just write you off completely. And so there's a tendency oftentimes for, I think, people who call themselves Christians to try to distance themselves from that stigma and kind of just say, well, we're more we just value life. That's a moral thing. And one thing I've appreciated about Heart for the Next Generation is the fact that they're not trying to distance themselves from Christ, from the message of the gospel. We want to bring Christ into people's lives, into the situation. We don't want to just be pro-life for the sake of being pro-life. We're pro-life because we have a message of hope, of redemption.
In a moment, we'll learn about the impact Heart for the Next Generation is having on our nation's young people. When starting Heart for the Next Generation, Pastor Keith Tucci hoped to motivate today's youth into action. He thinks society tries to soften the pro-life message or pull youth toward the pro-abortion side by arguing about choice. But by offering educational resources and activist experiences, Keith believes their eyes will be open to the truth and devastation of abortion. He and Scott have seen firsthand the impact this event has had on our nation's young people.
A lot of our kids want to fight the evils of our day, you know. They see abortion as bad. We teach it in the church, you know. One thing that they're being impacted is how to win the battle. They're seeing, hey, this is how you would fight it in a very practical way, you know, a demonstration of God's love in a practical way. And being around people who have been in the pro-life movement for multiple years and have seen victories, just hearing that testimony, I watch the young people, their eyes light up, you know, because a lot of this isn't reported about abortionists getting saved. Even though it's been around, it's old hat for us, you know, those who've been in the pro-life movement, we kind of all know this stuff, but we forget, you know, those 14, 15-year-old kids are just learning about this stuff, and it just lights them up and gives them encouragement, like this is a winnable battle. I'll just give a quick story from today. So there's a young girl there, a part of our group, and she got to the abortion clinic early. The big group hadn't arrived, and there was a driveway that women were going into the abortion clinic on the back side, and we needed it covered. And so I just said, hey, I know you probably never have done this before, but here's some literature. This is going to give her all the practical help she needs, you know, the crisis pregnancies, phone numbers, but you need to stop the car and just ask them if you can pray for them and just talk to them as you would anyone else. And she went over there, and I know she was nervous. Later she came back and told me, you know, a car stopped, you know. They took the literature and they let me pray for them, and they explained how one of the kids was sick and there was need, and she just really prayed that God would intervene. And so those kind of things are life-changing things for her forever.
I'm hoping that Heart for the Next Generation will solidify in them the understanding that they can do this, that this is not just a one-time thing, that they can continue to live out a pro-life view and spread their pro-life views when they leave.
Do you think they'll actually put what they've learned into practice?
With several of the young people, they have already begun to put what they've learned into practice here, because it's the first time that they're doing some of these things, of speaking to women, to strangers who are passing by who have nothing to do with the abortion clinic, striking up a conversation with them and steering the conversation to life and against abortion. So they're getting the practice here, which will make it easier for them to do when they go back home.
Madison, what impact do you think Heart for the Next Generation is having on you?
Really, the biggest impact is a new realization of how absolutely devastating abortion is for both the children and the women after the procedure. It's really just a new realization, like I never had before, of how absolutely tragic this is. To really see it this close up has just really changed my idea of how bad it actually is.
What's the biggest misconception about reaching this next generation?
For me, I think it's clearly that they're looking for a different message, looking for an example. They're looking for courage. They're looking for conviction. And they're hungry for that. They're desperate for that. And may we be the people that give it to them rather than somebody else.
Another misconception could be that our generation is hopeless, because I do see people being genuinely transformed, and just as they encounter Jesus, their life gets reoriented. There's a desire for something way more meaningful. There's that tendency to say, I'm personally pro-life, but I feel like it's a woman's decision, that kind of just gray area. I've seen people encounter Jesus and recognize the value of life and God's plan for life, and it changes the course of their life concerning the pro-life issue. And so I think there really is hope, and I've been really encouraged afresh this week and saying, wow, that is a misconception that even sometimes I fall into, but I'm saying, no, those are misconceptions. There really is a hope here. There's a generation who's of individuals, person by person, encountering Jesus, and really the course of their life changed.
When we return, we'll hear how young pro-lifers can re-energize and carry the torch of the pro-life movement into the future. Pro-life events like Heart for the Next Generation are instrumental in preparing America's youth to take a stand for life and getting involved in the pro-life movement. This growing number of pro-lifers can touch the hearts of women contemplating abortion and ultimately end this modern-day Holocaust. The future of the pro-life movement lies in their very capable hands. What impact do you guys think that the next generation will have on the pro-life movement?
Say it out loud. Dating abortion free.
We're going to tip the balance here, and I think people got the vision. They can see that they have the power to do that in this community. That power lies within us. And I think that we want this to be a spawning ground for other communities to do the same type of thing. And, let's do this in our community. Let's get our young people together in our community.
Would you consider the young people in the movement critical to the movement?
A movement can't survive if there's not another generation, next generation. And so Heart for the Next Generation, this event, is focused on those young people to make sure that this movement of protecting life doesn't end, that it continues on. This generation may see the end of legalized abortion, but they will have to continue to carry that baton on to the next generation and the one after that, to spread a culture of life, that no matter what the laws are, we will respect life and defend life.
One impact that I think that our generation has the ability to do is to use media as effectively as those who are pro-abortion. And so you go into a college campus, you go into a school, and everyone knows where Planned Parenthood is. They know what abortion's about, what to do. It's accessible. And I believe my generation has the opportunity to make life accessible, to make crisis pregnancy centers accessible, to let men and women know that there are other options out there, and to really raise up a generation that is passionate about life beyond just saying, I'm pro-life. And I think my generation has that opportunity to kind of bring life into the forefront and say, this is why we're for life. The fact that if you're not for life in the womb, you're not for life anywhere outside the womb. But I think my generation has the ability to settle the charge and to say, hey, we understand that this is an emotional issue, but let's look at the greater picture here, life, and why we value it.
Calls to action like this one in Dayton, Ohio, are being held all across the nation. Those working in the abortion industry have good reason for concern. This growing number of youth have the ability to touch enough hearts of women contemplating abortion to bankrupt this lucrative killing business. Please keep their future efforts in your prayers, and thanks for watching. Getting involved in making a difference in the pro-life movement starts with becoming informed and rallying others to the cause. You can stay up to date and start making waves with social media by utilizing this great iPad mini. Visit our website at facinglife.tv and enter for your chance to receive this very special gift free. While there, check out available resources for youth and find out how you can get a copy of today's episode on DVD or Blu-ray to share with others.